producing much of anything, even
though you were.
Well, okay.
She was. That was a whole nother thing.
That was a whole
We
nother
found out
thing.
she was.
Well, yeah. So in my mind, my baby is starving.
And it's my fault.
And it's my fault and I'm failing. And then here comes my husband to like save the day.
Oh God.
So it's like, what the fuck am I here for then? So, you want to tell them? Hi, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Couple Moves Away. I am your host, Jay Cohen, a.k.a. Jay Did the Deal, here with my lovely co-host and my baby mama.
Mm-hmm. That happened.
Karina Cohen. So, listen, first and foremost, if you guys rock with us and love us, make sure that you do me a favor, like, subscribe, and follow us. Turn on those notifications so that you know when the content drops immediately. Today we are talking about.
We have a special guest in the studio.
There is
Our baby girl.
Our daughter is here. So she was born on January 5th, 3:52 a.m. at a healthy 6 pounds, 7 ounces, weighing in at 6 pounds, 7 ounces. And she was about 19 and a half inches long. And so she's here.
She came about 2.5 weeks early.
Mm-hmm. So she was due on the 20th and she said, nah, I'm straight. I'm out. So already an overachiever.
So today's episode, just because it's still fresh on our, in our lives, today's Friday. So whenever this gets posted, we are a week away from our birth. So we're going to discuss, we'll discuss our birth story in a separate series, but we're going to discuss our initial first week experience and thoughts as parents.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Parents.
So, I'll start with this one. So, honey, first and foremost, how has it been without, let's start with this. How has it been without being pregnant?
So, just so y'all know, a few things are going to happen on this episode. I'm going to cry and I'm going to stutter because birth, pregnancy, estrogen, whatever, I find myself like just my brain just kind of misfires here and there. And then I'm just super emotional. So to answer your question, I'm emotional. I have heard of baby blues. It's a thing. It's not postpartum. There's two separate things. Baby blues are when women feel like they miss their belly. They miss their baby in their belly. And they're just kind of sad. Like they're the blues. Not like depressed, but just kind of like, man, I'm sad. I wouldn't say I've experienced that, but I have experienced feeling disconnected to the baby. And I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it. It's going to be a raw-ass episode. We'll get into it, but the breastfeeding also was a disconnection, which everyone told me it's going to be hard first 3 to 5 days, but I'm seeing my baby have formula. I'm seeing her on a pacifier. I'm seeing her outside of me. So it was more like feeling extremely disconnected and I couldn't connect with her. But I don't think if I had an issue with breastfeeding, I don't think I would have felt that necessarily. I just think it was overwhelming in the time at that moment. But yeah, I just this morning you gave me a hug and he made the comment. He was like, we haven't been this close, like this embraced, like this close in at least 6 months. And so it is different now. My body doesn't feel any different. Like my body still feels the same, I guess. Right. I've always been in tune with my body. I work out, I didn't really feel the weight of when I was pregnant. So I don't know. I still, I feel fine. I just barely looked at my body for the first time. Mm-hmm. Like yesterday.
Which looks good.
Yeah.
No stretch marks?
which isn't the goal, right? The goal isn't to like look like you never had a baby.
Right.
But
A lot of women out there would say, wow, you're lucky.
yeah, a lot of women would probably say you don't even look like, the bounce back. Again, I never thought about that. I never put pressure on that. But all that to say, I gave birth to her on Friday morning. And just because I'm busy, half asleep, breastfeeding, I'm in like a diaper and I'm in a faja and everything. It wasn't my intention or my focus to like look at my body. But yesterday, now that I'm feeling more like conscious, I guess, overall, I feel like I'm back to me a little bit. I finally took a shower and like looked at my body and I was like, yo, like, fuck yeah. Like, fuck yeah. Like it looks different. It looks beautiful. I thanked my body for what it did. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job. Don't start crying.
Yeah.
She's an emotional mess right now, you guys. She's gonna cry at least 30 times.
At least. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and then now that you have a whole, well, actually, I'll talk so I can let you collect yourself.
Let me compose myself.
Without you being pregnant, I guess it's different. It's different. I feel like I've gained part of my wife back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've gained part of my wife back. I guess I kind of put you on like a gentle little egg or like I didn't want to like crack a little egg, so
A little bubble.
yeah, so when we would sleep, like I wouldn't like throw my arm over her or I wouldn't like touch, like I wouldn't, because I just wanted her to just be able to grow, and I didn't want you to feel like, I know you and I know you're a catering wife, so you're gonna be like, if my husband wants to do whatever, you're down with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this in another episode, even when it came to like sex and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But yesterday, I noticed, when we fell asleep, like we're not big like spooners. We're not like big spoon, little spoon.
I'm very hot bodied, and
Yeah.
I always, he's like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
you got a heater on in this joint, So, but we used to always touch our feet.
Yeah, our feet always touch, and we hadn't been able to do that because you just couldn't sleep at an angle
On my
that
back
allowed
or
it.
on an angle, yeah.
Yeah. So last night was the very first night. I was like, holy shit, like my wife is back, and then I don't have that husband blocker 5,000 between
pillow.
us. So it felt good. It felt good for that. And then, seeing you now, it's like, it's like I said, I when we hugged this morning, I just wanted to hold you a little longer just because I'm like, wow, I realized I haven't held my wife this close in a long time.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to have my wife back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice. I hadn't even thought about that till you said it.
Yeah.
And we did, like we held like, yeah, we just kind of hugged each other for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now she's here. What's the easiest part of having her here?
Honestly, I think everything. Even though everything's hard, it's easy because of her.
What do you mean?
Does that make sense?
No.
Like everything that is hard, everything I've done is
Mhm.
easy when you see her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like why? Like, of course I would.
Yeah.
Of course this is fucking hard, but it's easy. Look at her. She's perfect.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think everything honestly is easy. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. Like nothing about this is easy, but it feels like it's amazing. Every bit of it,
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay. And now what's the hardest part?
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding.
I'm gonna tell you, like birth was easy.
Birth was easy.
Birth was easy. And again,
I won't say it was easy. I won't say that.
Well,
it looked easy.
From
My wife can say it.
perspective, birth was easy in comparison to what I've experienced so far. The hardest part, I wouldn't even say is breastfeeding because I'm only a week in, but the hardest part is not knowing what she needs, right? So she's brand new to this world. I'm brand new as a mother, so we haven't quite figured each other's language out, right? Physical cues, her certain cries and sus pujidos. I don't know her just yet.
Yeah.
So I think that's just the hardest part so far. And then the second, I guess the other hardest part, which isn't hard, but the challenging part for me is sitting my ass down in bed. Sitting my ass down in bed. So I mentioned it, I think, in a previous episode. I wanted to honor the...
It's the same person. Yeah, tell them.
I wanted to honor la cuarentena, right? For you guys that don't know, la cuarentena is 40 days where mother rests and recovers from birth.
It lasted 40 minutes.
Hold on now. Hold on. So, and forgive me if I mess this up. I only have my own like understanding and my own perspective from my family on it. But 40 days where mom's mom, so my mom or other elder women come take care of mom. They baby mom while mom babies her baby, right? So in theory, like a village of women come cook, clean, do laundry, take care of you and your household. So all mom has to do is rest in bed, recover her body, and take care of her baby for 40 days. Along with that comes other things like you don't leave the home, you don't expose yourself to air. You don't eat cold foods. You don't. You're not barefoot on cold floors. All those things can bring cold into the womb. Delaying recovery. So there's more things to it. But it was never supposed to be bed rest, Jay. It was just 40 days at home. And then my doula said 7 days in bed,
No,
7 days,
five.
5 days in bed, 5 days on the bed, and 5 days around the bed. That's like her general guideline. So
Shout out to our doula.
yes, which we'll have on an episode later. I've tried to do this, and my mom is here. My mom has been very helpful with everything that I need, cooking, breakfast, lunch, dinner. She serves me in bed. She helps make breakfast. She'll just help with whatever we need. Right?
She's been awesome.
She's
Shout
been
out to Mom.
amazing. Thank God. And Jay's been amazing as well. We'll get into that, how that's kind of affected our business and our life, but he's been amazing as well. But there's still things that like, I feel silly kind of going, hey, someone go get me water. And you're busy at, upstairs working and my mom is doing laundry or doing 5 things at once. It feels selfish. It feels, I should be able to just get up and go get water.
Yeah, but you can't. Remember? La cuarentena or whatever. Whatever.
La cuarentena. If you can say quarantine, you can say cuarentena.
No. Oh, cuarentena.
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 La cuarentena.
There you go.
Guantanamera.
So I guess that's the hardest part for me. Is
Yeah.
like really just asking for help and not moving until I get help from somebody else.
Because you're pretty bad at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The day that the doula said on the bed, in the bed, around the bed, I was like, see, I told you. And she was like, okay, I'm going to do it. 1 hour later, I said, hey, honey, do me a favor. She goes, honey, is there anything I can do? You need anything?
Well, hold
while I'm
on.
up?
Let's set this up.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Set it up.
you had been busy all day,
Uh-huh.
and the doula had come and gone.
Uh-huh.
You were finally resting in bed,
It was an hour
holding
later.
Luna. Yeah, holding Luna.
Yep.
And I asked you, can I get you anything? Because you've had a long day too.
Okay.
So my husband says, yeah, babe, you know what? Actually, grab me some water.
And what'd you do?
Without thinking, I'm gonna go take care of my husband.
Oh, because it's crazy because the doula said in the bed.
And so
So unless there's a water spout in the bed,
So he
it sounds
goes-
like you were breaking the rule an hour later.
he goes, up. Gotcha. I was like, you set me up.
Right. Because you was headed out that damn door.
I was to get him some water.
Babe.
And it's silly because literally, like she literally is like even going from your bedroom to the kitchen.
She literally said that.
I know.
And you didn't listen.
I know. That's
So,
the hardest part, I guess.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm so independent and so I want to help. I don't like to be a burden to people.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hardest part. Yeah. If I had to, do that.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What's been the hardest part, easiest part,
The easiest part of now, is let me see. The easiest part now that she's here has been managing the emotional part. She's here now. It was a lot like when she wasn't here because I was like, remember, like sometimes, man, I'll be honest, because we did IVF and we had been trying for a baby. It took me about to the first 6 months of her being in the womb that I would be terrified. I told you this.
Yes.
Every time we go to a doctor's appointment, I'd be terrified that the heartbeat wouldn't be there. I would be nervous until I heard that damn. I would be like, please, Lord, please let it be there. Please let it be there. And then it got to a point where I finally got comfortable. I was like, oh, my baby's a warrior. She's straight. And once she got there, I was like, okay. Then I went through and I never talked about it because I never wanted to speak it. I'm a big believer in like what you speak can happen. But I was worried that she could be stillborn. I was like, what if this is some sort of fucked up, cruel way to get me right here? Everything has gone so perfect. And then we get there and she's stillborn. Like I was like, oh no. And it was a real fear I had for a while. I never talked to even my wife about it because I didn't want to put that. I would make her cry. Just she's gonna cry now thinking
I
about
am.
it. And then boom, she's here. So the easy part for me now is that she's here. I can so much. I've had a kid. You know, I've had a baby before, so I know that like the little things that you be tripping on, like can she wear mitts or is
Oh
she
my
supposed to
God.
have is she supposed to have one leg up and one leg down? I'm like, that's a baby. She's straight. Like babies are durable.
He literally is. One day, what were you doing? Oh, you were upstairs working. And so our studio office is like in one area, and then you cross the hallway and is her nursery upstairs. And so one day, I
She's smiling
hear
right now.
I hear him I hear him in the nursery, and then I hear him going, and then he ran downstairs. And I'm like, did you just leave her by herself? Like
No,
unsupervised?
she goes, where's the baby?
I said, where's the baby?
And I said, she left.
I was like, Jay, he's like, she's in her crib. And I'm like, by herself? Like, what are you talking about?
Like she's asleep. What's she gonna do? Get up and walk
And
away?
then, no, and held on. And then the other night, unrealistic, okay? Unrealistic. We're in our bedroom. She's in her bassinet. I just laid her in her bassinet. I had gone to the restroom, come right back. And I literally am like, babe, where's the baby? And again, like I'm a smart lady. Intellectually, I know, number one, my husband's in the room. Nobody came and snatched her, right? Number two, she can't walk just yet. So clearly, dad must have her. But like my gut instinct was, oh my God, where's the baby? So I am going through those kinds of little things. And Jay's
Right.
just kind of like laughing at me like, oh, you amateur.
Yeah. So that's the easy part. Is
Yeah.
that now she's here. I do understand her cue. I know when she's getting fussy. She's a really good baby. As you guys can see, she's been here on this podcast. We're talking to you guys. She's asleep right now.
Yeah.
And she be chilling. She's wrinkling her face up, but whatever. She's a little moody sometimes, but she's really an easy baby. And then so that's the easy part. The hard part has been twofold. Managing her mother. Her mother needs to rest and refuses to rest and thinks she is resting, even though I clearly can see she's not resting. Hence, she just walked up these stairs to do a podcast. But that's another topic.
We
another
won't
time.
tell anybody that.
Yeah, we'll keep that between us and whoever's watching this. Hopefully, the doula and midwife.
Snitch.
So managing that. My wife is a crybaby at the moment. I literally can, if I wanted to make her cry right this second, I could at a cue. You guys want to see it? Just let me know, honey. I want you to think about your daughter, understanding that she's only going to be this tiny for so long. And she's going to grow up and get married and
Why would you
leave
do
you.
that? Why would you do that?
See your face? Look at this. That's how easy it is. So my wife, sorry, honey.
It's okay.
My wife is an emotional wreck
I'm a
right
part
now.
of your cruel joke. I'm a circus clown right now. Is that what you're doing?
So, I mean, she'll just, my wife will, she'll go, like the other day she said to me, she said, babe, I said, what's going on? What's wrong? And she goes, she'll never be this little again. She goes, she'll never be this young again. And I said, you do know you could tell her that when she's getting married, right? You could literally tell her on her wedding day, you'll never be this young again. Every day of her life, she'll never be that young again. But it's just my wife, and I guess for me, it's different because my wife is not like that. My wife she's a softie. She's a cupcake when it comes to like movies and stuff. I should have probably known this was coming because anything that is emotionally attaching, she can get emotionally invested.
Yeah.
So I should have probably known this, but there's not much she gets really emotionally attached to. Like, she's really good about it, like in a real life settings, but she also has an imagination. So like movies and stuff, she cried during Finding Nemo.
First of all, no one told me that they're gonna massacre the family. Okay, within the first 5 minutes of Finding Nemo.
It literally is a cartoon.
Literally, that was so sad.
So she cries for stuff like that. She cried during Planet of the Apes. She's a big crybaby when it comes to movies. When it comes to real life, there's a lot of things in real life that I'm like, yo, is she gonna cry over that? And she'll just be like,
I would say I'm pretty emotionally
She's a G.
balanced. Yeah, I'm pretty emotionally balanced. I'm strong. I'm not like I'm a softie, but I'm not like a, is there a word for it?
Yeah.
I know punk.
You know, punk.
I know punk.
But when it comes to your baby,
But
you
when
a
it
punk.
comes to I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
So that has been different because there are real emotions. I understand it. It's just having to um, conceal any of my emotions to ensure that I don't trigger her emotions. So, for instance, just recently, um, when it was like day 2, a lot of mothers don't produce milk by day 2. But our baby was fussy, and she was like, and I get it. And there's a lot of moms out here who will identify with this. So I'm not knocking it at all. It is a very real thing. But my wife was like, I can't feed my baby. Oh my God, I can't feed my baby. She was crying, crying, crying. And I'm like, baby, it's okay. Like, we don't give a fuck. If I gotta feed the baby damn goat's milk, I don't give a fuck. The baby's gonna eat. That's all that really, really matters. And but she just felt like, dude, like, why am I not able to feed my child?
And I know it's unrealistic because, again, like I had read breastfeeding milk can take 3 to 5 days. Baby doesn't need a lot in the very beginning. Their stomach is the size of a walnut, as long as you get some kind of colostrum. So, but I wasn't producing much of anything, even at,
Even though you were.
well,
She
okay.
was. That was a whole nother
That
thing.
was a
We
whole
found
nother
out she
thing.
was.
Well, yeah. So in my mind, my baby is starving.
And it's my fault.
And it's my fault and I'm failing. And then here comes my husband to like save the day.
Oh God.
So it's like, what the fuck am I here for then? So yeah, it's a lot of emotions, but I like the way you said it. You're like managing, and it's unfair, in a way, but I appreciate it. Like he just said, like you've had to absorb, your emotions or your thoughts. I'm sure you've had to refrain from saying certain things to make sure that you don't set me off, which I appreciate, but it's not fair in that moment.
Yeah, well, life isn't fair. Everyone plays their position. My position right now is to be the tough guy.
He is.
So,
He's a tough guy.
I have to just sometimes just manage that and just be like, it's all right, babe. Don't worry about it. When just recently she went about 2 days without pooping, and my wife thought that she was gonna blow up or something like that, and she thought she might explode.
It was,
And she was like,
5 days, okay,
it was
of no
literally 4
pooping.
days.
No, it's 5 days. Seriously, I have a tracker.
She has a
I
tracker.
have a tracker.
She has a
Okay,
tracker.
it's called a
everyone.
telly tracker. Anyways,
And she was like, my baby's not pooping. And I literally looked it up. Now, I remember it from with my son, but I also looked it up, and I'm like, babies can sometimes not poop for a week because they don't have abdominal muscles to push it down yet. So I'm like, nah, babe, it's cool. But now deep down, I was worried too. But I can't show any worry because I don't want my wife, that will freak my wife out, right? I need her at this moment to always see me confident, right? So that's a little bit challenging because there's times where I am just as concerned and things like that. And then the other side of it is now I feel pulled in a zillion directions because I am my daughter's father, and that brings a different level of, like, my focus now has gone through the roof.
I've seen it. We haven't even discussed. I'm gonna insert. We hadn't even discussed any new ventures or projects, and all of a sudden, like he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this brand new thing," and he's like heavily invested. Like you're working every day a lot more than you've ever worked for like a while. Um, your schedule's so different now.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, when did this happen? How did this? Not that it merits like a conversation, but typically we talk about like, hey, I'm gonna get into this, or whatever. And all of a sudden, like I felt like day overnight, like I gave birth, and all of a sudden you're like in a whole new business venture. So yeah.
Yeah, I just, we semi discussed it before, but when we talked about having kids, it's like I'm not built like some bum ass guy. There's a lot of bum ass guys out there who just have a kid. I'm not built like that. That's not even the man that I am. The minute I had my son, I knew I had to make $1 million to give my son. Now with my daughter, I need to make 10 million to give her. And if that requires me working 25 hours a day, I don't give a fuck. I will do that because she will have everything that's due to her. And so if it requires me being tired, or now I'm not only am I trading, I'm mentoring trading. I'm starting we're about to start like a body shop and an auto repair business. We have the logistics companies like
He's been doing absorbing my work from my company as well.
because that has to fire. Everything got to fire right now. There's no misfires. And so that there is not that bad because I've had to do that before. The hard part is balancing that with the fact that I love being an active father. There's nothing, all that, none of that shit. The money, none of that shit brings me the joy of when I'm holding my little girl and seeing her eat, drink from the bottle, or even watching her just breastfeed. I just like staring at her just breastfeed. I just love it. I love it. And trying to make sure that I don't allow what I present, making sure that I don't allow what I present to prevent me from being present. And I want my daughter to always know that her father is present. I tried my damnedest. I don't care if there was baby appointments where I maybe made the last 6 minutes of the entire appointment, but I give a fuck. I made every appointment except for one, I think.
Just one. Mm-hmm.
I will make everything. Same thing with my son. My son would do he had capoeira, piano, baseball, basketball, tutoring. He can't say he can remember his dad missing 5 things in 18 years. He can't. Not a parent-teacher conference, not nothing. And my daughter will have the exact same experience.
And imagine you did that when you were a single father, majority of that.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing too, right? Is like I'm taking my fitness way more serious because I gotta give my daughter another 20 years. I'm not 23. I'm not 20 like I was with my son. When you're 20, you're not worried about making it to 40. You assume you're gonna make it to 40. Well, I'm 43. My health has to be. I need to still look imposing when she brings that first little raggedy motherfucker to my house. I can't look like an old, weak old man. So now I got to stay in the gym. I got to get this fat up off me. So that way I still look like I will fuck you up if you do something to my daughter. I don't want to be like, I remember when I was younger, and this is all dudes know this. You got the girls that you used to date and you meet her dad and you'd be like, shit, that could be rough, right? And then you got the girls, you meet their dad and they be some old dude or something. You'd be like, I could probably whoop his ass. Like, what is he going to do? If I dog his daughter, what's he going to do? I don't need you to think that with me. I need you to think he could really probably kick my ass. And so my focus has just taken a different shape. So that's probably been the hardest part, feeling like I'm being pulled in so many directions because I feel like, I have so much work I have to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to be there for my daughter, and
you've done a great job. You've done a great job. I mean, like he says, he does skin to skin. So at night, I've kind of stayed up. Not kind of. I've been the one staying up because of she had jaundice. She was losing weight. All these things. But we got on a regimen. I'm up every 2 hours. I'm breastfeeding, bottle feeding, and pumping every 2 hours, and that's rough. Like the first night that I did that. I hadn't figured out my rhythm yet. So I was supposed to have a 2-hour gap. She has a 2-hour gap. She gets to sleep for 2 hours. Okay. By the time that I finish breast pumping, bottle, I gotta pump. Like I only had 30 minutes of actual rest before I had to do it again. So it took me a while to kind of catch a rhythm. But still, at least the first hour, I'm still doing something. And so I can maybe get an hour. But anyways, I'm definitely doing that happily because I need him to rest, right? But when he wakes up, like before he goes to the gym and stuff, or at night when he's still kind of laying awake, he'll take her after I feed her. He'll diaper change, he'll skin to skin. So, you've been doing a great job, honey.
Well, thank you.
You've
You
been
have
doing
as well.
Great job.
I know that some couples out there, I know that they do the shift thing.
Shifts.
Some people do some people. It all depends on, what, I'll say this, whatever works for your household.
Yes.
Whatever works for your household. This works for our household right now. And who knows, it may change.
The only thing that, you'd hope for is some type of involvement, however that's defined or how that looks in your household shouldn't matter to anybody. But I know for us, this is what's working for now, like you said, until we kind of figure out, kind of get our weight back up and stuff. Hopefully it won't be such a 2-hour, interval.
Yeah. Well, my idea was to get a night nurse from day one. However, I realize now that you need to understand your partner. I'm all for it, but I know that my wife wouldn't give a fuck if there was a night nurse here. She would be up every 2 hours. She would be up looking at the night nurse
on the camera, lady,
what you doing?
What you doing?
And on the camera, my ass, you'd probably walk up the stairs.
Well, the thing is this with a night nurse. We talked about this in an earlier episode. For me or my culture, it's definitely not normal to ask for help. And then also certain type of help is really? Like it's like shameful.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Like really, like you had a housekeeper, you have a nanny. You can't do it
Yeah,
yourself.
all that.
You know,
Chefs, maids,
and so
car washers.
I had to get over that myself because that was something that I'm like, oh my God, I should be able to do this by myself. But my life is different, as you said. Business owner, partner, all the things. So I'm not uncomfortable with a nanny. I'm okay with a nanny, It would look different. I think for me, even me, my own impression of a nanny is like a lot of women hand off the kid and kind of go, well, I'm going to go facial, massage, do my thing, And there may be moments where I do that, as a self-care thing. But I guess from what I've seen or my own, again, perception of like what that looks like, it just looks very hands off. It looks like, here's my kid, take care of it. I'm going to go shop and, just kind of live this independent life. So for me, I'm not opposed to a nanny. The night nurse specifically, though, I don't know her yet. I don't know her cues. I don't know her patterns or her rhythms. So I don't want someone else. I don't want like a stranger to like
To
have
set her
that.
time schedule,
To like have that.
we'll beat her up.
I want to be able to go, hey, listen, around this time she does this, around this time she does that. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel right for me to just have someone that kind of goes, here, you take care of my kid, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, you wouldn't sleep anyway.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, right now anyway. I mean, I'm cool with it.
Y'all
Like,
did just hear the story of her worrying if I left my kid just walking around who doesn't walk yet. So she wouldn't stand, and that's her father. So a night nurse wouldn't stand a chance. So I think you need to know. Don't try to crash my episode. I think you need to know your spouse to determine whether or not those things are for you. We're blessed and we're fortunate from a financial perspective that whenever that time comes,
yeah,
we can afford it. So
thank God.
yeah, there's that. So now what is go ahead. You guys sound like you have a question.
Well, no, go ahead.
What do you envision for you and her in her first year of life? What do you think that's going to look like?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought about that. I think I gave a lot more attention and energy towards my birth.
Yeah.
I think obviously time spent together. I'm really grateful. He made a comment. Jay puts a lot of things in perspective for me sometimes. Well, a lot of times. But like as a business owner, I was feeling really bad and stressed out that I don't have maternity leave. I don't have the opportunity to have like 6 weeks completely off, to just shut everything off, don't check emails, don't have staff meetings, like just be a mom. And it was stressing me out, because I didn't feel like the company was where it needed to be and I have enough staff. And then, for me to just not check my emails, I've checked emails. I've been still kind of working here and there. It was a stressor. Long end of it, he kind of was like, the flip side of that is that you do own a business. We do work from home. So even though you don't get a 6-week chunk off, you also don't have to go back to work after a 6-week time period. So to kind of answer your question, I'm really looking forward to just spending time with her. My mom, when we were kids, was a stay-at-home mom in the very beginning, years of our life. But my dad was never present because he was always working like, again, two jobs, a side gig or whatever to make sure we're all good. So I'm looking forward to showing her a different upbringing. One where dad is busy and mom is busy, but we're present and we're able to adjust our schedules to whatever she may need. Whatever she may need. Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to just that, just being present.
Nice.
And enjoying whatever new developments and milestones she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to, in her first year of life, the things that I foundationally set. I'm like eagerly anticipating like her social security card and birth certificate so I can get her like 529 account set up and
her passport.
Which we'll talk about all those things. We'll talk about how you do those things with a kid. We'll discuss that on a future episode. As soon as I have her social security number, I'll add her to my company payroll. So you guys will see her. She's here right now. Right. So everyone lift her up just so people can see the back so that my tax strategist can make sure that they don't need to see her face, but okay. See that? She's on the episode right now. So right now she's a model for us. and I will be paying her for this episode. So we'll talk about those things, but I can't wait to get her social security card so I can put her on payroll, put her payroll invested into her. So anyhow, I'm really excited for implementing a lot of the things that I wish I would have known with my first son.
That's a good point too.
And I'm also very excited with, I have intentionally started attempting to speak more Spanish because I want my daughter's first language to be Spanish. So I speak to her in CHOP. So I speak to her in English and Spanish because that's all I can speak. But I do feel way more inclined to attempt Spanish now because it is just such a, I don't, we'll talk about this maybe in a whole nother episode too, but I know I don't understand Spanish people who come to the country speaking Spanish and then don't teach Spanish to their kids. That's fucking crazy.
That's a whole different episode. I can actually help give you perspective on that.
Yeah, you can give me perspective on it, but it's just nuts to me because it has come in so clutch so many times. My assistant speaks Spanish. You speak Spanish. You have gotten us so far in when we travel out of the country, when we are negotiating certain things. There's certain people, with our labor help and things like that, like they would probably hear me speak English and just be like, oh, and he live in this big ass house. That's going to be $7 million, sir. But as soon as they start hearing her speak Spanish, they like, oh, she's from the culture. She ain't gonna play that shit. And plus she probably know a couple people that could do it for the low. So then all of a sudden that price goes way down. So I've seen how the benefits work, and I'm just like, man, so doing that, I'm looking forward to immersing myself in that culture and really just starting to set up those foundations. I saw a video today of it was like a reel that a dad had shot. That was like how it started, and he was snowboarding with his baby at 9. She was 9 weeks.
Oh my God.
She was 9 weeks or 9 months. I don't want to know. Maybe she was 9 months. She was 9 months. And he was snowboarding with her like in his arm, right? And you could tell this guy was like, and he's on a bunny slope.
Professional, yeah.
You could tell he's legit, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then it kicked in the song like running, and it was showing this like this little girl like on the bunny slope, and then next thing you know, she was gliding, and next thing you know, she was like booking it down this huge slope, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that because I have such an amazing life designed for my child already, which that right there may trigger some people, but I don't give a shit. I am not the abusive part, but I am the Joe Jackson, Earl Woods, Serena Williams, Mr. Williams. I am that to my daughter, and her life is going to be great because I'm going to push her ass into greatness. And I'm just excited to do that, and more importantly, to teach her some of the things that I just did not know. Like my daughter should be able to day trade by the time she's 10.
Yeah.
Like 10 years old.
Yeah.
She'll be trading stocks at 10. And that's going to be lit. Like she'll be sitting there in high school like, actually, that's not right. The S&P has not traded that high in a long time. And I look forward to that. So, yeah, I'm really excited over this. But this first year is just, I'm really excited to get some of those things in motion and set her future up, to be everything that she deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm drawing a blank. You were asking other questions, Matt. What was the questions you were asking me?
Oh, the sleep. How are you feel? Do you feel like the emotional? What was the postpartum part?
The postpartum, yeah. So, the sleep. I think
She don't get no sleep.
I don't get sleep, but I think okay. The first 24 hours. Let's discuss that.
Yeah.
First 24 hours. Again, birth was easy. We'll discuss that in a separate episode. First 24 hours, I don't remember them fully because I was kind of like out of it. I remember having a hard time trying to breastfeed. It hurting, like my nipples were just chapped and hurting. I remember like her being fussy, but not that bad. It wasn't until like 4 a.m. So like almost 24 hours later,
yeah,
when she just was uncontrollable, unconsolable, and I wasn't, giving her what she needed, and she was clean, she was warm, she was all the things, all the boxes were checked, but she just wasn't. And then you were sleeping, so I'm trying to like not wake you, and it was just like a lot of pressure. And then I remember you kind of waking up like, what do we need to do? you know, and you're like, I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna find an open store right now, and I'm gonna buy formula. And then I'm like, I don't want to give her
Yeah.
formula. Like,
We gotta give her
I gotta give her my milk. But you were right. You were right. But again, that's where the disconnection started feeling like, oh my God, like I can't even feed her. I'm not even connected to her. So then that happened. Then, which shout out to my husband. So he found, I don't even know what store you went to.
Right, Walgreens. Shout out to 24-hour
Right.
Walgreens.
He came home that morning with like some bullshit ass, I'm not gonna say the name, some bullshit ass formula, which in a pinch went with. And he told me, he said, babe, we're not gonna stick with this. I already placed an order. It'll be here 24 hours. But for now. And then he bought me, I think, every lactation support supplement off of the damn shelf. I feel he just kind of went like this to the shelf and put it in the fucking cart. So shout out to you. But he came back home. We gave her a bottle and she settled, which again made me feel like I'm not producing enough. Oh my God, my baby's starving. I am failing as a woman, as a mother. So then 24 hours, 48 hours, kind of the same thing. I was still trying to ask my doula. My midwife had come over to visit us to weigh the baby. She's losing weight. We noticed jaundice. So in the first 72 hours, I think like a lot happened for me. Mm-hmm. It was seeing her again have jaundice. It was seeing her losing weight. It was not being able to latch and feeling disconnected. And then physically, I felt fine. Like my body wasn't I was sore, but not like in pain. I think what lack of sleep was exasperate my emotions. I think had I been a little bit more rested, I would have been maybe mentally or physically prepared to like handle the emotional. But yeah, I think the sleep deprivation is, and I'm going to say this, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it's an opinion, it's a thought. I wonder how many women's postpartum diagnosis really is just lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Because even me, I haven't told you this, when she was kind of going crazy and like the next day, so the first 48 hours, I was having what they call, I heard this term. Oh my God, what do they call it? Oh, intrusive thoughts. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
So having intrusive thoughts,
Like, want to share one? You don't want to share one? Okay, fuck them thoughts then.
So again, but I don't like, it's not postpartum. It's just right. Like, I think it's just being sleep deprived, So again, like I wonder how much of a woman's journey is being misdiagnosed by herself or by her doctors when it's just lack of sleep. And,
lack of sleep, definitely.
And because
or your emotions shifting, right? Like how you are right now.
It's both. So
some
I'm
people
saying,
be like, you're so postpartum. Are you in postpartum
right.
depression?
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's because the emotions are gonna be there, but I think the sleep deprivation exasperates it. Yeah. And if it's not handled, it can turn into this prolonged thing. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not speaking on what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I'm just saying like my thoughts, my opinions on the matter. Yeah. Because if I feel I'm a pretty emotionally stable person, I feel like I have all the therapy and the tools to like kind of handle a lot.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I couldn't even combat those thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it's
they're bad so thoughts or sad thoughts.
They're bad thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. So and it's just because you were so tired.
Just so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're normal. They're normal. I tell you, even with my son, when my son was born, there was a time where I was like, yeah, I'm not proud to say this. There was a time where he was just crying. I'll never forget this. There's a couple things I've done in my life with my son that I'm just like, I will never forget that. That was wrong. And I'm just being honest and transparent. There was a time where he was crying so much, I was like, I wanted to shake the shit out of him. Like, shut the fuck up. And I only thought it, but I felt so guilty afterwards. I felt like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you a psychopath? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
and then you judge yourself. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Why would you even think that? It's like,
yeah.
It'd be like if you had like a thought like of murdering someone. Like, you're like, I think I killed, like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be thinking about that. And I remember like looking at him in his crib and he was like, and I was like, shut the fuck up. And I even grabbed him like on his shoulders and I like was like, I was like, what's wrong? Knowing what the fuck was he supposed to say to me? Now I look back at that now. I am a lot older now. I was 19 years old at that time. Um, and I feel so terrible. I still think about it now, now and when we have these kind of conversations. So it's definitely a
It is a
real
real
thing.
thing, and I'm glad I had heard about it before I experienced it,
Yeah.
because at least I was aware like this is a thing.
Yeah.
And you know how Instagram does with the algorithms. All of us and all this stuff. So I'm like, on my page, I feel like Instagram knew that I gave birth. When I was pregnant, it knew, hey, you're pregnant,
Yeah.
and now it's like, oh, you had a baby. Here's all the postpartum. Here's all the newborn things.
Yeah.
But I literally had just seen two videos about intrusive thoughts, and the reel shared a few examples. Which were mild, I think, in comparison to my thoughts. But again, it's like, you would never do this.
Yeah.
You know that. But again, I think just the sleep deprivation and just the stress and just the everything, and
Right.
just, and then again, then you feel guilty and like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And
Yeah.
who?
And if anyone is out there judging this, what I want you to do is stay up for 2 days straight. Stay up for 2 days straight, and then start listening to your brain. When I was in the military, they give you training on this, and it's the number one way that you get people in. When you take POWs, one of the biggest ways that you abuse them is sleep deprivation. It is the number one way. They keep lights on, they make noise. Sleep deprivation will drive someone mad. So it's used as a torture tactic. It's literally a torture tactic.
Yeah.
So it's a very real thing.
So, but yeah, so sleep, that's kind of been that. Now, since then, again, I had the support. I had the midwife, the doula, and then
a breastfeeding consultant.
yeah, so
shout out to those people.
Yes, dude, if you don't have a breastfeeding consultant, and listen, I know that some insurances cover it, some might not. I would, if you're pregnant, I would save the money to get you one.
Start looking into it now,
please, because listen, there's only so much YouTube can do. And there's great resources, and the reels are cool, and the TikToks are cool, but it's different to have someone come into your home, physically assess your child, and say, here's what your baby is having an issue with or a challenge with. Here's how we're gonna, adjust. Here's our game plan. Because once she was born on Friday, on Tuesday, my lactation consultant came to the house and checked her out. So she's got a few mouth restrictions, like a tongue tie,
a slight tongue tie,
a slight tongue tie, a lip tie, right? And then a restriction in her mouth, which was kind of giving her some challenges with latching. Not latching because she latches well, but breast, suckling is the word, right? Suckling. And then of course I'm new at this too. I've never practiced how to breastfeed before, so we were kind of just
holding her wrong.
Holding her, yeah, all these things. So having someone come in and go, hey, here's this, and let's do this. And that gives me a game plan. Now I can focus on something to do versus not knowing what to do and feeling helpless. And since then, obviously, her sleep's been better.
Yep.
Her weight's going back up because she had dropped 10% weight.
My wife's getting some sleep.
I'm getting some sleep.
Some,
but even though it's not prolonged periods of time, even though I know, I think I'm telling you, I think I just feel better knowing, okay, I've got some sleep and I've got a game plan. I can stick to this thing that I can focus on.
Yeah.
Versus focusing on something that I don't understand.
Yeah. 100%.
So
yeah, and it's definitely something. So I will openly share that I lost my shit when she got a breast consultant, because I saw that charge and I was like, wait, we're paying how much for this shit? It's not too expensive, but it's not cheap. So I was like, wait, what? I'm like, dude, you got your mother, you got a doula, you got a midwife. No one could tell you the same shit. No, not like a specialist. A specialist came in here and was like, oh, look at her lip. Look at this. Bloom, bloom. This is where, oh, look, she's holding tension. I can tell because her shoulders are up right now while she's breastfeeding. But this is things that even if your mother knew those things, she's breastfed 40 years ago.
Which, yeah, more than likely, that's the point. Your mother, your grandmother may not know. There's women now who have had kids in the last 5 years who may not know.
And they probably don't know because they didn't know that their kid was having those issues.
Right. You know, and so now with Instagram or whatever else, there's more information out there. So at least we're exposed to it.
Yeah.
We may have heard of a video or heard of a thing and want to look into it. But even then, my mom didn't know about half these things, you know?
Yeah.
But just to kind of give you guys some perspective, doulas, depending upon how long you hire them for, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. Again, depending upon how long you hire them for. I know for me, I didn't acquire my doula until
Closer towards
month 8, like the third trimester.
Yeah.
Third trimester.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give you guys a roundabout figure, $2,000 to $3,000 was like her. But and we'll have a doula conversation later. But you have access to support at any time, questions. They typically do give you an overview on breastfeeding, an overview on what to expect for postpartum, an overview on birth plans and things like this.
your rights during your birth.
Your rights during your birth. They'll make sure that they understand, where are you birthing, a hospital, a birth center, at home. You know, if I need to advocate for you, what am I saying? So they're kind of like your birth coach. A lactation consultant, think of them as your breastfeeding coach. And that's all they focus on is breastfeeding. But, and again, we'll have a whole different episode. I didn't know how much goes into breastfeeding. I'm thinking like a nipple and a baby, make it happen, right? My chiropractor just was here an hour ago. Thank God I have a chiropractor.
Did y'all know baby chiro is a thing?
It's a thing. It's a thing. So I knew of the prenatal chiropractic care.
Yeah.
But even then, I didn't learn about it till like a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that I know or my friends talk about, right? Just like acupuncture. I didn't know that I could use acupuncture for fertility. Anyway, so when I went to Dr. John, shout out to you and Katie, a New Haven chiropractor, he exposed me to pediatric chiropractic care.
And now I was way like, what the fuck? Like, I've been to a chiropractor and they do the crack, crack. I'm like, you think someone's coming here and cracking on my brand new baby? You have got me highly confused. But it was actually really cool. I just sat there. We just went through her chiropractic appointment, just like literally before we came to shoot this episode, and seeing him like just gently like it was really weird, but it was, and I was looking like I'm gonna have to kill this guy.
So unlike, so when they say, so my lactation consultant said, hey, your child may need some body work. They have tension in them. And I know it sounds crazy. Baby was just born. What kind of stress could you possibly have, right? And so things like the birth itself could be traumatizing, or they can hold specific stress if they
remember that to contort their body to come out that pelvis.
Yeah. So maybe they were not fully dislocated, but maybe like they did something to their ligament in their shoulder when they were coming out, or their neck or their jaw on their way out. All of these things can affect the way a baby can latch or suckle, or how they breastfeed if they're like this, you know? So it sounds silly to someone like from our generation. My dad would laugh at this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see it, when you see someone assess it and treat it, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing that we're now at this generation where we're learning these things. So a chiropractor came over and like he said, now they're not going to sit there and like do spine work on your child. Okay. Yeah. They're going to actually check the cranium. They're going to see how that's healing. They're going to check the jaw. They're going to check the, with a little glove. Yeah. They're going to check the inside of baby's mouth. So it's a lot more than what you would think. We're going to crack the baby's back.
I was like, you ain't cracking my damn baby.
No. So, but all these things have been helpful. So having a team, not just like your mom and whatever else, having professionals that are experts in breastfeeding, experts in birth support, experts in birth, like a midwife, or, all very, very important. And I would say a week in, I'm literally 7 days in, and this could change, but as of right now, I feel like I got this.
Nice.
I feel like we're good now. Like I'm good.
Very
I'm over
nice.
the hump.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
my sleep is awesome. No, it's not awesome. It's I find myself getting less sleep because I'm working a lot more. Mm-hmm. Before the baby, I used to be a wake up at 5:30 a.m. go to trade, workout, go to my office and all that kind of stuff, and then be back, and I would take a nap about
noon,
2,
1, yeah, around there.
Yeah, about noon to 2 or 2 to 3 or whatever, right, depending on how much time I had. then I would get up and I would do whatever I did, which was not much of anything. I would do business stuff, but it'd be mostly answering emails and texts and stuff like that. But I would do it from like bed, or I could chill really.
Yeah.
And then I'd be back in bed. We're early to bed people, so we were people that would be in bed by like 9:30,
Yeah.
and sleep by 10.
But our day was pretty much wrapped by
Yeah.
like 6.
Hmm.
Our day was wrapped by 6. We would go have dinner. We
We're
would
early
go,
dinner people.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
don't eat late.
we,
So
yeah, watch Netflix and chill, and
Mhm.
yeah,
and but now with me working more, I'm not getting a nap, which makes for a very cranky Jay.
very cranky.
And then so I'm not getting a nap, and then
You're coming to bed later.
I'm coming to bed much later.
Yeah.
Like 10, 11,
11, yeah.
12.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sleep has been great because my wife has given me the grace of just going, hey, you focus on sleep and getting back up, because you're not getting I'm not getting an hour nap in a day or in between while she's sleeping, and I'm not getting any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you recharge at night and you be okay. But I'm still forcing myself to get up at, like, I'm keep trying at 5:30. I keep still getting up at 6, but I keep forcing myself to get up because, again, my health is so serious. I've actually lost almost 20 pounds.
Yay, baby.
So if you guys see me looking skinny on camera, you know what I'm saying? I'm not playing. I got a lot more to go, but I've lost a significant amount of weight over the last couple months, and I'm dedicated to that journey right now, especially every time I look at my daughter, and every time I'm in the gym and I'm tired, I swear I put my daughter's face on my phone, so I just look at her and I'm like, yo, you gotta do it, bro. You gotta do it. You gotta get your ass to working. Sweat, so that because she needs you, right? And it gets me through my shitty workouts every day. And then
You're doing great, babe.
But it's my sleep is just choppy, because even though I'm asleep at night, I can hear when my daughter cries. I will wake up, and I'll wake up and and then I'm like, okay, her mom got it, and then I'll go back to bed. Well, you still woke up.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting REM stuff. I wear this Whoop. For those of you guys who don't know what this is, it's a Whoop, and it tells you, like, I have had terrible sleep ever since my daughter's been born. It keeps telling me, like, you need more REM sleep. You need more. I know I need more REM sleep. It ain't gonna happen. But I went from having, like, I would always hit my minutes mark every single night of REM sleep. I am somebody who can get really good deep sleep. But I haven't had it ever since she was born. So, and that's okay. It's part of the journey. I keep telling myself that this is like a year. It's like a year and a half before my daughter's sleeping through the night on her own, and in her own room and stuff like that.
We're gonna claim sooner.
We're gonna claim sooner.
But
I keep telling myself, like, it's only for a short period of time. I could do anything for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, I'm just excited for the journey, man. I'm blessed to be doing it with my partner, and blessed to be a new parent. So
That's pretty much it, guys.
That's
I
it.
just
Listen.
wanted to do some little initial thoughts. Maybe we'll tap back in and do this again in 6 months or whatever. But
right.
ultimately, I'm just grateful. Like you said, baby was born healthy, and I knew this is a journey. Postpartum is a journey. Postpartum depression can affect women up to a year after. It doesn't hit immediately, So if anybody out there is experiencing, postpartum or just having a hard time, you may not put your finger on it and know what it is, but if you're feeling off, go get some help, talk to people, open up. A lot of women can understand what you're going through and offer you support. And you're not alone and don't have to be alone. You don't have to do it all yourself, and you'll still be a superwoman just because you asked for help. And every woman's journey is different. But again, we can kind of find connection and empathy with your village. So go get help, go ask.
Yeah, and to the dads out there, it's perfectly natural to feel the pressures of being a new parent. That's totally normal. I strongly advise that you speak to your homies during this time. Make sure you stay tapped into your village. As men, we're not really taught to, like, yo, man, this is hard. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I'll call my homies in a minute. Like, I'm very lucky because my daughter was born on the 5th. A really good friend of mine's daughter is born on, he's like my family. His daughter was born on the 6th. And my other really good friend, his daughter was born on the 7th. So I can always tap in and be like, yo, how's your sleep going? Shitty. And I'll be like, yeah, mine too. So But I have some really good friends. My homie Daryl, shout out to Daryl, been contacting me like every couple of days. My homie Eric has been contacting me hey bro, you good? I know that this is, so I have some really, really good friends. It is normal to feel the pressures of wanting to provide a lot for your child. Just remember that whatever that looks like for you, I can promise you this: never sacrifice the time. My son is blessed in the sense that I hit a home run when he was about 15 years old. But if you ask my son right now, like, yo, man, what is the thing that you loved most about like your dad? All he's gonna really tell you is that my dad has always been there. My dad has always been he's always been present. So being present is the most important thing, and just remember to keep that there. And then also, it's okay to set some of your feelings aside sometimes. Sometimes that's all your wife needs. Just set it aside for a minute. You can always go talk to your homies and be like, bro, like she's a fucking crybaby right now. They're like, dude, my wife was too. Or they're like, mine was mean. I have another friend. He was like, dude, my fucking wife turned mean after the baby. He was like, I thought I was gonna have to divorce her. So just understanding that they're going through hormonal changes, and it's temporary. It's temporary. It'll balance out. But anyways, listen, we just want to come on and give some sort of content and idea into what we have going on. Couple Moves Away is a show that discusses how you are a couple moves away from whatever. And in this one, I just hope that you understand that you're only a couple moves away from understanding the birth journey.
And then also going back to like women, with my girlfriends, I think what I've appreciated the most is that they've kind of given some distance, right? So they've let me know I'm here if you need me, but my phone's not blowing up. One thing I love that you did for me is you were the one kind of updating everybody, like everybody that was significant in our lives. Hey, she's been born. Hey, this, that, or the other. That way my phone wasn't blowing up. For me, and I have spoken to other women who kind of have a similar pattern. Knowing that we're cared for without being overwhelmed is key. So him shouldering that and kind of screening that was amazing. My girlfriend's kind of messaging me saying, hey, I'm here if you need me, wishing the best, but not directly texting me or blowing me up has been nice. That way there's no pressure or obligation to respond. But also when I'm on Instagram, when I'm on the phone, I can kind of hit them back whenever I want without any, again, like pressure or feeling like I got to do this. But if you are friends of a couple who just had, kids, what advice would you give them? How can they show up for their friends?
Just give, if you are friends of somebody who just gave birth, just give them some grace. They have a lot going on. They don't mean to not, and it's the thing, man, like at least me, I try to be a good friend. So I feel so bad when my friends hit me and they're like, hey, everything cool? I'm checking in on you. And I'm like, damn, I gotta respond back because I don't seem like an asshole. If it's short or whatever, just be understanding and just be receptive to that and say, I got you, bro. It's all good. I'm not gonna hold it against you. I don't think you being shady. I don't think you moving funny. You're moving like a parent. You're trying to navigate this new thing in your life. And just give them a little bit of grace. And then also, if you just want to go the extra mile, look, man, it is very easy to send a meal to say, hey, because listen, man, parents ain't eating. We're not eating. We're not eating and we ain't sleeping. Right? So there's no, hey, man, I just ordered you guys some pizza, man.
Yeah.
I don't even need a text back. Don't need nothing. Just sent you some pizza. I already got it scheduled for 7:00 tonight. So dinner's on me. I think that's a really cool thing. We got tons and tons and tons of flowers. But then you feel like, damn, I got to respond and tell these people thank you.
I got to respond. But then also here's being transparent. Beautiful. I love it. And trust me, I love flowers. That's beautiful. But then I'm like, they're going to die. Then I got to clean them out. Then I got to toss them. And then I got to toss the vase. So for me, it feels like more work again. But your friends, your family. So like he said, send them a meal, some groceries. We don't all have the ability to have a mother show up for us and come stay with us, or have a housekeeper or an assistant or whatever. So if your friend, you can ask the husband instead of the mother, hey, go to your fridge. What do you need? I'll send you some groceries. It's not the money. it's the thought and the time.
Yeah.
It's the convenience. It
I
could
saw.
be.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I saw a really cool reel the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was this lady, instead of her instead of a baby shower, they had a nesting shower. So
Oh,
instead of asking for gifts, all her friends came over and they nested her house together.
oh,
They
that's
threw
cool.
everything out that she didn't want. They just
Yeah,
took direction.
yeah,
And mom's only job was just to kind of be like, "Yo, I want that cleared out. I only want to keep this. I want to do this." And then what they did was they showed the second reel, the part two of it was they all came back a week when the baby was born, and it was pretty funny because they all showed up in like the medical outfits,
yeah.
and they had on latex gloves, and
Protection
they
and
were all protected, and they came in and they started cleaning up the house and
yeah,
and things like that. Like, hey, we're gonna do your laundry. Hey,
yeah.
if your friends don't have the financial means, you don't know how much it means. Like her mom has been A1 now, and we have housekeepers and maids and chefs. We have all of those things, but her mom has been paramount, man, because her mom, and it sounds so stupid, but the other day my house was in chaos to me because, to my wife's point just a second ago, we've been getting a ton of gifts. I love my friends. Shout out to y'all.
No, and
And
yeah.
I'm talking about
Please don't take it the wrong way.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we got everything from high chairs to uh one of our friends was trying to send us Gucci and we put it on our list. So they was like, you want it, you can have it. We have friends that are very well off, right? But I still got all the wrapping from all that shit everywhere, boxes everywhere. And I'm trying to break it down as fast as I can because it was starting to pile up so big, it was building up a thing by our door. I am not complaining about this. I am so blessed. I am so blessed that I have friends who showered us like that. But my house was starting to become chaotic. And it was then I started looking, it was just bottles and brand new things that my wife ain't sticking that in her baby's mouth without cleaning it. So therefore,
I'm
it all has to
cleaning
get
bottle.
washed and
Yeah.
cleaned. And so now I was just sitting there, and then mom came in and was like, yo, I'm putting this stuff up. I'm gonna organize this. And my house just came back. I was like, whoo. Ooh, I could breathe again. So I say that to say that when you have amazing friends like us, I want to make sure I continue to say that, who will shower the shit out of you with anything that you need. There's cleanup that's involved with that, and if you don't have the means to maybe send them flowers or send them a great gift, is like, hey, let me come over and help put that
Or whatever you need.
yeah.
Whatever you need.
Yeah, let me come
Because
over and help put that car seat together for you. Let me come by
yes.
and help put that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna come by and put all your baby furniture together for you. Don't worry about it. I'm bringing if you're ladies, I'm bringing my husband. He's gonna come by and put it
And
all
of,
together for
of
you.
course, this is with clearance, right?
Hmm.
Like, hey, mama, are you good for company? And clarify. I don't need you to dress up. I don't need you to
I don't
entertain
even need to
me.
see you.
I just want to come over and help with whatever you need. What do you need? You need laundry? You need groceries? Did you forget to pick up the cleaner? Like, whatever you need. Do you want me to organize or sanitize these bottles or throw away this trash or, take the trash cans out, put them back in? It's just your village showing up for you. And I think as a friend, the first thing you could do is just ask, what do you need?
Yeah.
Without assumption, and then and also be prepared to do it. If your friend says, listen, I'm embarrassed, but like, dude, the dog just shit, and I stepped in it and I almost, whatever it could be.
Right.
Like, be prepared for whatever it could be.
And also
just,
be prepared for the mom that says, I don't want anyone in my house.
yeah, no, and of course. Yeah, I think.
Be prepared
yeah,
to give that grace and say, okay, just letting you know I was just
I'm here.
I'm here. And whenever
Yeah.
you are ready for somebody, if you see something get out of control, call me first.
Yeah. I think that's what you could do to offer some support to mamas and daddies, and families, and it's nothing to do with money. It's just showing up as a friend. What do you need? How can I help? How do I support whenever you're ready? When are you ready?
Well, listen, man, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us today. My name is Jay Cohen again, and with my beautiful baby mama,
Hey.
the mother of my child,
And
Karina
baby,
Cohen,
baby
and
Luna.
my baby who is in her first paid appearance. uh, we just want to say, listen, you're a couple moves away from understanding our journey, a couple moves away from understanding the postpartum experience. This show will develop into showing you so many different steps, but we're trying to build you to understand our walk of life and where we're at in our current walk of life. So thank you guys so much for, tuning in. Please share this episode with somebody who who may be going through something similar. Like, subscribe, and follow. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Peace and love.
Bye.